Hi all, thank you for joining me, Toni Darroch, live in my studio. What a day. It's been so busy today. We have been flat out getting everything ready and organised for you in the show so that we can ensure that Thursday and Friday shows run absolutely smoothly. I'm so excited, if you haven't already gathered. I hope you've been enjoying the sneak peeks of the cards that we've been popping on Facebook. If you haven't seen them, I do encourage you to go and have a look. There's been some beautiful makes, some from me, some from the lovely design team. There's quite an eclectic mix of different variations on what you can do with the lovely stamps and dies that are coming on Thursday. Just a couple of things I wanted to tell you about. We are doing a Facebook Live on Wednesday at 1 p.m. And the reason for that is I'd like to show you the whole product range that's going to be on Create and Craft on Thursday. I know we've broke it down in studio. I'm now on to collection 3, which is launching, but there are more, lots more. So I really needed to show you on a Facebook Live. So make sure you tune in on Facebook on Wednesday at 1 p.m. I'll show you lots of finished samples and the product samples as well, so you can get a great feel of what's to come, and if there's anything you like, even if it's just one thing, you'll be able to keep your eyes on it on Thursday. So my shows are on Thursday. It's a 2-hour live launch and it's at 7 p.m. in the evening for 2 hours, and I've done about 12-13 demos, so let's hope we get through them all. If you are watching on Facebook, don't forget to pop a comment below. You could win a card when I get round to sending them out to people. If you are still waiting, just give me a little bit of a nudge on Facebook Messenger and let me know you have won a card but I haven't sent it. We do apologise for this, but we do our best, so just give me that nudge if I need it. And if you are watching over on YouTube, don't forget to click the subscribe button. We do encourage everybody to do this, and then that means we can share anything we make. Any comments, hints, tips, it's all about sharing really. The channel is not here to sell you products, albeit if you like the products you can buy them over on our website. All you need to pop is FBL, Facebook Live, into the search engine, and anything I've used in studio is on the website. But if you don't have the products, please don't worry about it and please don't switch off. That's an absolute no-no. You might have in your stash something similar where the technique in studio will work with other brands or other products you have in your stash. Okay, so it's just a case of grabbing a cup of tea and having a crafty half an hour together. So in studio today, it's the third collection I'm going to show you. So over the course of last few studios, I have shown you varying elements. So first one I showed you some stamps, second one I showed you some stamps, and this one I'm going to show you some stamps and dies. So they are brand new. These do have Christmas sentiments in them, but they are beautiful for all year round. And that's one of the reasons why I wanted to do this collection. You know, we can use them in our Christmas products, absolutely, but they are fabulous with all the other products throughout the year. Great for happy birthday cards and things like that. So if you didn't see Studio 1 and Studio 2 launching products, go back and watch them. You might get some inspiration, and then you can get a great feel of what's to come in the show on Thursday. So here we are, look, here's our lovely stamps. So if you've noticed, I know there's a lot of followers of Stamps by Me and we are very appreciative. You will have noticed already that the packaging has changed. And the reason we've changed our packaging is simply because we want people to see our products to scale. So when we're at shows and when I show things live on air, people don't know what size stamp, what size die they're getting. So now all you have to do is look at the picture and know yourself if it's going to work for what you need it to work for, because it's actually to scale. Everything on the card is to scale. Okay, so you get the beautiful geo diamond there shape, and you get the varying Christmas sentiments. We have launched 2 sheets of Christmas words as well. They all are different widths, different heights, different fonts, and they're all going to fit within your geo frames and fit with all the other lovely stamps that I've already shown you. They are a great mix of stamps as well, so you know you're not going to be lost for a Christmas stamp this year, I'm certain of it. So this is our geo stamp, and I'm just going to measure it now for you. It's 5.5 inch long, so it's a big old stamp and 4 inch wide. So perfect for your top folding note cards, but they don't get lost on your 7x7 and 8x8, so they're fabulous for that. So this is the diamond, and then you get the fabulous coordinating die. So again, to scale, so you can see they are exactly the same. They cut seamlessly. So this is the die. On the reverse, we have here step 1, step 2 and step 3. This shows you exactly what you need to do with the die. So if you just use one element of the die, you get the paper piece in. So the pieces drop out, but the actual element stays within the card, which is fabulous. I'm so excited about these. And then you get your inner die and your outline die. Now I will just show you. I haven't actually had this one out of the packet. I am actually going to use this one on air today so you can see what it's like. So there we go. I'll just move that there so you can see. So the element here, this one here with the paper piece element, that's the bit that stays in the card. You also get the centre if you want to take out the centre. Centre if you want to take out the centre. You also get your outline if you want to take it out of the card. And then you also get a matte and layer. So it can be built up, made as sparkly, 3D decoupaged up as much as you like. But again, not just for Christmas. These are going to be all year round staple dies. They're going to be fabulous. So this is, I'll leave that one out because that's the one we're going to use today. So obviously you get your stamp. They work together. So it leaves a 1mm border around your stamp, but it also works as an entity on its own. So if you just like the dies, you can buy the dies. If you just like the stamps, you can do that as well. If you like them both, they work together seamlessly. You know, they are brilliant for that. So then we have our lovely heart one. So you get some beautiful large sentiments in here, which fit within the aperture of the heart diamond there, so you can see. And then you get other ones in there. And then you get your coordinating die. So exactly the same size, there we go. So you can see we've shaded it in 3 colours so you can see exactly what you're getting and how to make them work. We've tried to break it down and make it simplified for crafters who may be a brand new to crafting and maybe never picked up a die, but it's also easy to establish which element goes where. And again, on the back you have the breakdown of the 3 parts there and the paper piece element of it there. Don't forget though, we have our fabulous scanning code. So if you scan that on your phone, basically it will take you to all the tutorials that I've made so far, which there is a lot, of this collection. Absolutely loads of them. So when we go live on Thursday, that just needs scanning and it will take you to all the tutorials. So if you buy the products and get them home and you think, do you know, I can't really remember what I bought them for. She did a fabulous demo, but I can't remember how she did it. It will be on that QR code. So that's another fabulous element. So just put that aside. Then we have the lovely rectangle. Now, you know, I like top folding rectangular cards, so this is perfect for me. But you know, sometimes I do like to step out of the box, so that's why I'm doing the oval one today. So you get your rectangle in there. This Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year fits beautifully this way in the aperture there. It's absolutely fabulous. And then you get all your other ones in there, all different mix of fonts and things like that. And then you get your coordinating die. So your shaded areas show you which part goes with what. Then you get your QR code. And this is fabulous one, is the paper piecing one. If you don't take it out of the card, you get this like element that stays within. They make great stencils as well if you want to ink through them. So that's the rectangle. And then we have the oval. So this is very delicate, is the oval. Very, not detailed, but very delicate. So if you wanted to make a very simple card, this is probably one to go for. So again, let's just see how big that Happy New Year is on there for you. That is 3 inch, that Happy New Year on there. It's absolutely huge. But again, it fits within there, and so does this one, either that way or that way. And then you get your elements across the bottom there. Coordinating die, 3 shades again, so you can see where it needs to go, where it needs to be. And again on the back, this is your paper piecing element, your 3 shades to show you which go where, and then your scanning code on there. So these frames were made to go with obviously all the other products that we've put in our Christmas collection, but as always with Stamps by Me, we always try and give you something that you can put your hands on all year round. You know, our crafting products, everybody's crafting products, nothing's very cheap these days. Everything seems to be so expensive. So if you are going to spend your money, you want something that you are going to use. So I know that you will use these all year round. I know a lot of you still use our other frames, our artistic mounts. I still put my hands on them and use them in studio all the time. So I know you will do the same. So I hope you like those. Let me know if you are popping comments on now on live on YouTube. Unfortunately, I can't see them, but I do get the messages coming through afterward. So if you do like them, please let me know. Just encourages me to carry on and do more things. And if you have something similar in your stash and you want to create the demos in studio that I'm creating, you can do that also. Just make sure you pop your makes over on our Eureka fan page, and then everybody can be inspired by whatever you're doing. So that's enough jibber jabber. Let's get some demos done, shall we? So I haven't done any prep work ahead of time today because I'm going to do one card and I'm going to do it from start to finish, and it's a shaker card. And I'm often asked about shaker cards and, you know, you struggle or this doesn't work, that doesn't work. So I'm going to break it down and simplify it using the new dies in studio today. So as I've already said, we're going to use the lovely die on here, and we're going to use the coordinating stamp. So I'm just going to grab my Eureka and we'll get cracked straight on. So I'm going to do it on patterned paper today, just to be a little bit different. We always use white black craft, so let's step out of the box, and it tests me as well. Well, it doesn't test me as such, but it pushes my boundaries, so I'm happy to do that. So I have this patterned piece of paper here, and what I'm going to do first off is I'm going to stamp the large stamp in the centre of it. So, and you can see it just fits beautifully on that piece of card there. So you could stamp this in black, brown, but I'm just going to go ahead and I'm going to do it in gold because it's going to be in keeping with the card that we're going to make. So I popped it straight in the centre there, holding my artwork in place with the magnet. And we're just going to use a sticky ink pad. We're going to use some gold sparkly embossing powder, and we're going to use our anti-static bag. So the anti-static bag gets rid of any moisture in your card, and this makes your artwork clean and crisp, so you haven't got to worry about, you know, sticky fingerprints or messy work. So I'm just inking up this stamp with the sticky ink pad all the way around. Now, just a little tip for you, if you do get these stamps and dies, the centre of the stamp is actually in the stamp, and the reason I've left it in is simply because if you didn't have the centre in there, when you took it off its carrier sheet, what would happen is you would stretch the stamp and it wouldn't work. It would look a little bit skew, it wouldn't be right. So I made the decision to leave the centre in, but what that means is, pros and cons, is sometimes you might get a little bit of ink on the centre here, and that might transfer onto your work. So if you are inking or stamping, just go around the edges. Don't just pat like this all over. Just go around the edges. If you do pat all over, just ensure that the centre's clean before you come to stamp it, okay? Just a little bit of a tip for you there, because I really didn't want stretched artwork on your lovely cards that you're going to be making. I'll give it a good old push down. And I can see that's stamped absolutely fine, so I'm just going to get some scrap paper. Just going to give this a shake. See that there, how beautiful that is? So that's before we've heat set it. So it's nice and crisp and clean. There is no messy work then. That's just simply down to your anti-static bag. So if you haven't got one, I do encourage you to get one. So I'm going to heat set this one. Always remember to heat set it embossing, because it is plastic and it needs heat setting. It's not like glitter, it won't stay put. You do need to heat set your work. So I'm just going to get my gun hot. Then when it's hot, I'll pop it on my artwork and it will change immediately. Then what happens is, let's make sure my writing's the right way, and you get this beautiful like foiled frame. Looks really super duper. So what we're going to do now is just move this aside. So you could do one of many things now, because we've got the coordinating die. We could pop the centre in, which is what we're going to do, because we are going to make a shaker card, so I need the centre to be out of there. But you could also do the peak holes as well, so all you would do is pop the second die through. So I'll just show you. So you could pop that on too, but I'm just having this centralised part as a window for our lovely shaker card. So I'll just get my plates. And then just pop this one in the centre. So you get a 1mm border around, as you do with all our stamps and dies. So if you don't get it quite right, it's not the end of the world. I'll just pop that on there, and then we're just going to run this through my cut and boss. This is the machine that I use. These do go through your snap also, just. So if you have got a snap, you are in luck. Take that off carefully so I don't tear my paper. Then what you end up with is this beautiful aperture in there. Can we see that there? All ready to be a fabulous shaker card. So I'll just set that aside for now. Right, so what we need to do with this now is we need to pop our aperture, our clear acetate behind, to save so none of our bits fall out of the centre part of this. So I'm just going to turn my work over like so, and I have a piece of acetate. Now I haven't bought any acetate, this is just a piece of acetate from one of my old stamps, and I'm just going to use it as the window part on here. So I'm just going to pop it on as big as I need, and then I'm just going to cut it down. So I am being asked a question about the names of the dies. So just before, what we'll do is we'll stick this, then whilst this is sticking, I will quickly give you the names of the dies again. So I'm just using the Pinflair book binding glue. I find this seals it perfectly. So I'm just going around the outer edge of our die cut element on there. So the tape that I'm using also, I do try and answer as many questions as I can, ladies and gents. It's just a little bit difficult. I don't want to confuse anybody. The tape that I'm using is the Scotch low tack tape. I find this the only one really that doesn't tear my artwork. So it's Scotch then. It's available over on Amazon. So I'm just going to pop this one on top of here like so, and just give it a good old squidge down on that glue. And this is going to create the lovely window. So I'll just set that aside for a second to dry, and I'll just quickly give you the names of the dies because there are a few people asking. So we have the diamond, we have the lovely oval. So you can see here there are 4 in total. We have the rectangle, and we have the lovely heart. So you can see all 4 of those there. So if you just like the dies, they just look amazing on their own. So diamond, oval, rectangle and heart, and it's the same name for the stamps as well. So if you wanted to get a stamp and die combo, you could do that also. So I hope that's helped. So as you can see that now we've got a lovely aperture in there ready for our shaker card element. So for shaker cards, what you need is some 3D like foam tape, and this is going to hold all your elements in place when you come to pop your sparkly bits in there. So the way that I do it is, I mean, if you can get away with it, I just try and pop it on about 1/2 centimetre away from the window so you can't see it through the window, and then I just sort of like move the tape around. It all depends what tape you've got. This is the Create and Craft one, and I find that this one works. So if not, you can chop into it and put it in bit by bit. That does work also. Now if you want a really deep shaker card and one that's going to have lots and lots of elements inside, just do this again on top so you've got double the foam. And make sure you've got no gaps. Press it all down. And snip it off. Make sure you haven't got a gap so none of your bits can leak out of there. So that should be fine. So give it a good old squidge down. So we can see it coming together. This is going to be the backing element of. So you can see there how lovely it's going to look. Okay. So before we put any elements in though, what we need to be mindful of is there's going to be static in here, and if you don't use an anti-static bag, all your bits will just stick to the window and give you an ugly mess. So get your anti-static bag and pop your anti-static bag on the centre there. Just get rid of any moisture in there, and that'll stop all the sequins and bits and bobs sticking to the front of your window. So let's bring in this part. Now this is the easiest way for me personally. I don't know if it's the right way or the wrong way, but this is the way that I find the easiest. So I just pop my elements onto the centre of here. So I'll pop some little sparkly stars on there, and I think we'll bob a few little different coloured sequins in there. Not too many. I'd rather be too little and them not stick to the window than too many that they all are a clump and there's a hump in your card. So just be mindful of that one. So I'm just going to remove the double-sided tape backing from here. Like so, and then make sure it's the right way up, which it is, and then I'm just going to pop it over my embellishments in there. I'm just going to give it a good old squidge before I pick it up and give it a shake. Make sure all of it's stuck down and secure. See that there? So, and it's up to you what you put inside. You could put all sorts inside there. There we go. Quite a fun card as well for children and things like that. Something a little bit different. So you could have popped the other elements out as well, but I just took the centre out. So let's crack on to the next stage. So I've got a black top folding note card here, and this is just going to sit on top of here like so. So let's go ahead and get that on there. Make sure it's straight. So now you can see the cards coming together lovely. So let's use some of the lovely elements from our new collection and make this a true Christmas card. I'm just going to push this aside and we're going to bring in our Eureka. So what we're going to use for the next stage of our card is the lovely pine cones. And I am going to use this one. So, and I am going to use a bit of watercolour card here, and the reason I'm using watercolour card is it works really well with the technique that I'm going to show you. So I'll just pop that face down like so. So what we're going to do for this one is we're going to use a bit of everything. So I've got two distress ink pads here. I've got walnut stain and peeled paint. These are just the mini ones, and I have a three autumnal coloured pens here. These are watercolour pens, okay? So you need to be watercoloured to do this technique. So you also need a spritz water bottle, just any water bottle, whatever you've got in your stash. So first off, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to ink up this stamp. So, wrong one, green first. So I'm just going to do the the sharp element of the image. So I'm just giving it some good coverage there with the green. Now I'm not bothered if it contaminates with the next colour, because the technique comes to life when we start using the pens. And I'm just going to use the brown where I think I can see a pine cone on there. And what I'm going to do is I'm just going to spray it with a little bit of water. And you can see here when you push down, just going to give the watercolour card opportunity to drink the water. And then what we'll do is we'll move on to the pens. Like so. So put them aside. So you've done the basic, you've done the base layer of your artwork. What you need to do now is we need to add some dimension to this and make it like you've spent ages colouring it when really we haven't. So I'm just going to get zoomed in just so I can show you properly, because at the moment we've got a little bit of a muddy mess going on, but the technique will absolutely bring this pine cone to life. Thank you. So you can see here my pine cone's a little bit like, oh, what's going on there? So we need to bring this to life. So I'm just going to give this a little bit of a clean with my stamp cleaning cloth, and with my pen on its side, there we go, I'm just going to brush straight on to where the spiky elements. Thank you. So I'm not colouring it all, I'm just going on to the green bits and maybe just adding some depth. So when you stamp it out, can you see how it's giving you definition? So I'm just going to pop some more on. It's a wonderful technique this, it's very therapeutic. You probably spend ages going to town with this one. So I'll maybe pop some on the ends as well, to give you a little bit of definition on there. You see how it's coming to life? You see the shading around here? It looks absolutely fabulous. So I'm just going to keep going where I think there might be more shading. So this is the green element of it. See how the green looks fabulous? So I've got a little bit of an orange here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring the cone to life. So I'm just going to dot some orange around there. Orange, burnt orange. So if you need to, a little bit of a technique for you is pop it on, see where you want to add the dimension. So I want to add some more dimension here. some here. You can see how it's left the dimension around there. So I can see on my line here, I've got a brown streak there, so I need to get that to be green. So I'm just going to go over that bit there. There we go, look at that. And then I've got this other coloured green one here, just to add a little bit more detail. So let's add a different shade of green on this bit here. So you can build and play and basically just enjoy it. We'll see how fabulous. Does that not look like you've spent ages colouring it? So you need to rein me in a little bit because I will just absolutely enjoy playing. I'm going to leave that be to dry. So the technique is to do 2 small ink pads first, just random with a bit of water, and then after that add the detail with your pens. So I'm just going to dry this off. And here's one I did earlier with the other one. That's also within the collection. Don't know why I'm drying that one, that's already dry. So those are the 2 elements that are from the stamp set. I'll just set that aside. So with that stamp comes the coordinating die. So I'll just show you. Here we go, here's the coordinating die. So let's get these cut out. Can you imagine having to fussy cut those? My goodness me. Send me to an early grave fussy cutting those. So I'm just going to trim this down a little bit so I can get it on my plate. So I'll just pop this one in first. Get my tape. And again, you get that lovely little border around as well, so you know, if you don't get it right first time, don't worry about it. And it is a piece of card, so we can do it again if it's not quite right. I think we'll go with that one. I'll just run this one through. And then when you pop them out, look at this, you get this beautiful white topper as such if you want. It does actually look like a top, it doesn't look like you've painted it, does it? How realistic do those look? Fabulous. So let's set these aside then. So ahead of time, I cut one of the miniature signs, the signs that were shown in studio, and I'm just going to stamp a sentiment in here. I'm just going to hold it in place. So I just need a miniature sentiment, so I'm just going to find a small one within our mammoth collection that we've done. And like I said to you, there is stamp sets for all the signs. They all fit within something, they all fit, and all work well together. So we've got Joyful and Triumphant. I think I'm going to go for Make a Wish. That's quite a nice one. And I'm just going to do this in black so it pops. That's if I can stop it from curling. So, Make a Wish. And we'll do this in black. We could heat emboss it, I suppose, but we'll just go for it in black. I'm not going to press on too hard or else the letters will just squidge together. There we go, look. It's quite small is this one, so I'm just try that off. We'll get our lovely card constructed. So we'll bring back in our card here and the lovely elements. Now I did do two. Do we need to? Probably not, but and I was just going to pop them over here like so. But before we do that, what we need to do is we need to take the starkness of this watercolour card out, and we just need to add some detail. So we've got two there. So I'm not quite sure which way we're going to go with them, but we will see. The best cards come to fruition at the end, so I'm told. So I have the walnut stain which we used originally, and I'm just going to grab a blending brush. Just 1 second. So I'm just going to get rid of the harshness of this watercolour card here, and I'm just using one of my new blending brushes. So I'm just going to take it round, take the excess ink off, and then take it around. So you can make it as dark or as vibrant as you like, really. You'll just push that watercolour cream coloured card back a little bit so it's not as harsh on our card, simply because the colours in the card are quite muted, vintagey looking. So we really need to make this happen as well, so it matches. So what I'll do is I'll do this one and then I'll show you how different it looks compared to the other, because at the moment it doesn't look like we've done much to it, does it? But look at this. So you can see the difference there. So just by pushing it back a little bit from being quite a stark colour, now I am doing them both. I don't think I'll use both the card, but it's not a problem. There we go. I'm just going to pop a bit of colour around this as well, to make it a bit more woodified, make it look a bit more realistic. So you can see now how it ties in a little bit better than it did before when it was quite a bright white. So what are we thinking? That covers too much of the shaker. We can't do that. That's a crime. So I think we'll go up here. No, we'll just go for the one. What I'm going to do is I'm going to pop a pad underneath so it's raised. Just the one. Like so. Then we have our lovely sign, and ahead of time I've done a little like bow. So let's go ahead and adhere this. So I'm going to use the pin flare for this one. So just be mindful you're not going to want glue absolutely everywhere, but I'm just going to pop it on this little corner here. I've done 2, I'm just popping 2 on top of each other. And so we could pop our Make-A-Wish out of. So, okay, no problem. So you could like do a tag coming from here. You could pop it over here. I am just going to pop it over here. And then to finish, I'm just going to add some glitter glue onto our lovely. And I'm just going to pop it as if it's like snow coming from. I'm not going to do too much though. I've also already got a lot of sparkle going on, I think. So I'm just scratching it so it actually does look like. Pop a little bit on there if you wanted to. I'm not going to go anywhere near the cones. And then just to finish it, I will pop some little sparkles around. So I'm being asked another question. The question is, what blending brushes are these? So my lovely friend bought me these, and I've never used them before, but let me tell you, they are the best on the market. So thank you very much to my lovely friend. But they are Picket Fence Studio brushes, and they come in a set of 4. I'll show you. And they have the softest, it looks like they've been used on your face on makeup. They have the softest brush on there. They're beautiful. I can't believe I didn't know about them before, but they are absolutely fabulous. So it's Picket Fence Studio for those. I have no idea where you would buy them, but I'm sure if you Google them, you will be able to find them somewhere. So I'm just going to pop a couple of these lovely gems in and around our geometric frame. Now you can't really see this geometric frame, which is fabulous because it's like, it looks quite understated because of the gold on the cream paper. So I'm just going to pop those 4, well, I can't leave 4, it has to be an odd number. And there we have something a little bit different, a little bit of a shaker card going on there. So, you know, have a play. I'm sure you've got something that'll go in the centre if you don't want to use the sequins or the beads, but something a little bit different today. It's something I don't often touch is pattern papers, but now that we are designing our own pattern papers, it would make good sense for me to start putting my hands on them more often. So I will see you all on Wednesday at 1 PM for my Facebook Live. If you don't see it, don't worry about it, it doesn't disappear. As all our videos in studio stay on YouTube also. But if you do miss it or you do catch it, whatever, I will see you on Thursday at 7 PM for my 2-hour launch, which I'm so excited about. I can't wait to see you all there. Take care everyone, have a great evening, bye.